Thomas and Percy are good friends, but sometimes Percy teases Thomas about being frightened, and he doesn't like that at all. One evening he was dozing happily in the shed, but Percy wanted to talk. "Wake up, Thomas. Are you dreaming about the time you thought I was a ghost?" "Certainly not. Anyway, I was only pretending to be scared. I knew it was you, really." Percy went on teasing him. "I hope the guard leaves the light on for you tonight." "Why?" asked Thomas. "I quite like the dark." "Oh, really?" exclaimed Percy. "I am surprised. I'd always thought you were afraid of the dark. I wonder why." Thomas decided to say nothing and went to sleep instead. Next day, the Fat Controller arrived. "I would like you to go to the harbour tonight to collect something rather unusual." "What sort of something?" "Wait and see." Percy was moving trucks into a siding. Henry arrived with his goods train. The signalman switched the points and Percy waited on the siding until Henry had steamed by. Then there was trouble. "The points are jammed," called the signalman. "I can't switch them back. The workmen will mend them in the morning. It's too late now." Said Percy's driver. "I'm sorry, Percy, but you will have to stay here for the night." "Where are you going?" asked Percy. "Home for tea," replied the fireman. Percy was speechless. He watched as the other engines went home to the shed. Night time came and Percy began to feel very lonely. "Oh dear," he murmured, "it's very dark." Oh, what's that?" It was only an owl, but Percy didn't realise this. "I wish Thomas was here too," he sighed. Thomas was waiting for his mysterious load at the harbour. Suddenly, there it was. "Cinders and ashes," cried Thomas. "It's a dragon." "Don't worry," laughed his driver. "This dragon is made of paper. It's for the carnival tomorrow." Workmen lifted the dragon onto Thomas's low loader and put lights all around it for protection. Then Thomas set off into the misty night. Percy was asleep in his sidings and had no idea that Thomas was approaching him. "Help!" cried Percy. "I'm not going to open my eyes until my driver comes." Next morning, the points were mended and Percy puffed back to the junction. Gordon was just about to leave with the express. "You'll never guess what I saw last night." Gordon was in no mood for puzzles. "I'm a busy engine. I don't have time for your games." "I've seen a huge dragon. It was covered in lights." Gordon snorted. "You've been in the sun too long. Your dome has cracked." When the other engines heard the news, they laughed too. "Look out, Percy," chuckled James, "or the dragon may gobble you up." "No one believes me," puffed Percy. "Maybe I did imagine the dragon after all." But Percy soon found out that he hadn't. "Help! Save me!" cried Percy. "It's all right," whistled Thomas, and he explained about the carnival. "By the way, how was your night out?" Percy decided to tell Thomas the truth. "Well, Percy," said Thomas, "maybe we do get scared sometimes, but if we're not afraid to tell each other, then that means we're quite brave too."
One day Henry wanted to rest, but Percy was talking to some engines. He was telling them about the time he had braved bad weather to help Thomas. "It was raining hard. Water swelled under my boiler. I couldn't see where I was going, but I struggled on. Oh, Percy, you are brave." "Well, it wasn't anything really. Water's nothing to an engine with determination. Tell us more, Percy. What are you engines doing here? Hissed Henry.
This shed is for Sir Topham Hatt's engines. Go away.
Silly things, Henry snorted. They're not silly. Percy had been enjoying himself. They are silly, and so are you. Water's nothing to an engine with determination. Huh! Anyway, said cheeky Percy, I'm not afraid of water. I like it. He ran off to the harbour singing. Once an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. No one ever lets me forget the time I wouldn't come out of the tunnel in case the rain spoilt my paint, huffed Henry. Thomas was looking at a board on the quay.
Danger!
We mustn't go past it, he said. That's orders. Why? Danger means falling down something, said Thomas. I went past danger once and fell down a mine. I can't see a mine, said Percy. He didn't know that the foundations of the quay had sunk. The rails now sloped downward to the sea. Stupid board, said Percy. Percy made a plan.
One day, he whispered to the cars, will you give me a bump when we get to the quay? The cars had never been asked to bump an engine before.
They giggled and chatted about it. Driver doesn't know my plan, chuckled Percy. On, laughed the cars.
Percy thought they were helping. I'll pretend to stop at the station, but the cars will push me past the board.
Then I'll make them stop. I can do that whenever I like.
Every wise engine knows that you cannot trust freight cars.
Go on, they yelled, and bumped Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate. Oh, said Percy, sliding past the board. Percy was frantic. That's enough. Percy was sunk. You are a very disobedient engine. Percy knew that voice. Please, sir, get me out, sir. I'm truly sorry, sir. No, Percy, we cannot do that till high tide.
I hope it will teach you to take care of yourself.
Yes, sir. It was dark when they brought floating cranes to rescue Percy. He was too cold and stiff to move by himself.
Next day, he was sent to the works on Henry's freight train.
Well, chuckled Henry. Did you like the water? No. I am surprised. You need more determination, Percy. Water's nothing to an engine with determination, you know. Perhaps you will like it better next time. Percy is quite determined that there won't be a next time.
He moved slowly forward to jam the table, but he couldn't stop himself and slithered into a ditch. "Whoosh!" he hissed. "Get me out! Get me out!" "Not a hope," said his driver and fireman. "You're stuck, you silly great engine. Don't you understand that?" They telephoned Sir Topham Hatt. "So Gordon didn't want to take the special train and ran into a ditch?" "What's that you say? The special's waiting? Tell Edward to take it, please, and Gordon, leave him where he is. We'll get him out later." The next morning, the firelighter came. Thomas drowsed comfortably as the warmth spread through his boiler. Percy and Toby were still asleep. Thomas suddenly remembered. Silly stick in the muds, he chuckled. I'll show them. Driver said I could manage without him. I'll just go out and then I'll stop and wheesh. That'll make them jump. Thomas thought he was being clever, but really he was only moving because a careless cleaner had meddled with his controls. He soon found his mistake. He tried to wheesh, but he couldn't. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. He just kept rolling along. He didn't dare look at what was coming next. There was the station master's house. The station master was about to have breakfast. "Horrors!" cried Thomas, and shut his eyes. The house rocked, broken glass tinkled, plaster was everywhere.
It was a bright and sunny day on the island of Soro. The engines were working happily, but Thomas was annoyed.
Yo, Thomas, what's happening, dawg?
Oh, I'm ticked off. I've got too much work, and no one appreciates what I do anymore.
Well, Annie and Clarabelle do.
Yee, Thomas!
Apart from that, I'm annoyed, and I demand better treatment.
Thomas was waiting at a junction when a bus arrived. "Hello," said Thomas. "Who are you?" "I'm Bertie. Who are you?" "I'm Thomas. I run this branch line." "So you're Thomas, eh? I remember now. You got stuck in the snow. I took your passengers and Terence the tractor pulled you out. I've come to help you with your passengers today." "Help me," said Thomas. "I can go faster than you." "You can't," said Bertie. "I can," huffed Thomas. "I'll race you," said Bertie. The drivers agreed to the race going ahead. The station master said, "Are you ready? Go."
But Smudger just laughed.
Two diesels approached.
Got you this time, Stepney. You'll make very fine scrap indeed. Buffer him, Bert.
Oh, no, cut!
Gordon, James, and Henry were cold, lonely, and miserable. They wished now they hadn't been so silly.